Well, Full Gear is just a month away, but first we gotta talk about shows like this. So let's get to that. I'm John Renton with my review of AEW Dynamite from Rosenberg, Texas, which is apparently near Houston. Shrieking Paul Bosch noises. God, imagine if Paul Bosch had seen this show. That would have been amazing, considering that he actually died in the late 80s and was pretty goddamn old. So my God, he'd be over 100 years old if he was still alive now. And he would have a lot of great stories to tell about the city of Houston and the surrounding area. So many great goddamn wrestling memories. Honestly, this show had a few decent moments and then had some things that just left me scratching my head. One particular backstage segment that I'll talk about. So yeah, 5,000 people according to WrestleTix, maybe a little bit more. In a good sized building, but more of, a complimentary arena for that size. See, this is what AEW needs to do. They need to run more mid-size arenas. Keep the NBA arenas for your big shows that you promote and you get big crowds for. The crowd actually sounded pretty goddamn good here. Excalibur, Taz, and Shivani on commentary. Penta with Alex took on Jay White with Bullet Club Gold and, well, a jump start. Penta jump started and jumped on everybody except Jay, and then they had their match. And look, say what I'm going to say now in the future, what I've said in the past about Jay White. He's a good wrestler. I find him boring. I'm sorry. I find him boring. Nothing will make him interesting. That does not mean he's bad. That does not mean that he's the greatest thing ever. I don't care when he's there. And Penta, I like Penta. Met him about 4.5 years ago in an indie show. Him and Phoenix are a really good team. And the crowd was into Penta here. There was a nice, weird jackhammer DVD variation. I don't know what the hell you call that. It was certainly cool. And that got a 2 count. And then we got a distraction. We got Juice fisting Penta. And then the Blade Runner 1, 2, 3. And then another promo from Jay. Oh boy, be still my beating apathy. Look, it's to build the feud with MJF. And it makes sense. They're really trying to push this thing. And they've been hyping this for a while. I will give them credit. They're really trying to juice this thing up, ironically. And it's about MJF. MJF could come out 4-on-1 if he doesn't have any friends. And Juice says that he'll win the Battle Royal tonight. And it's a cubic zirconium, I believe is how he said it. He got it from TJ Maxx, and a TJ Maxx chant broke out. This was fine. Go back to MJF. I gotta say, Renee certainly wore a sweater that was a choice. Or a top, whatever the hell it was. He didn't go out there because he wasn't going to be an idiot. He wasn't going to be like other baby faces because he's not a good guy. He's a scumbag. And he's going to be on commentary for the main event. The Acclaimed offered to help out MJF. And Caster basically says, I'll enter the Battle Royal. And then when I win, I'm going to face you and you're going to have to put a ring on it. Damn it, Max, we talked about this. Me Max or he Max. Or TJ Maxx. So we then get a package on Shida and Emi Sakura. Student versus teacher. Then Shida and Sakura had their match, and look, they laid shit in. Sakura is not bad. I haven't cared for her since she showed up, and while she is certainly not bad in the ring, I'm sorry. I'm numb to her. I like Shida. She came me in the goddamn face, and I wouldn't care. And no, I don't have issues. You have issues. More women, please. That was a sign in the crowd, and I agree. They could book 2 women's matches each show, and they could make the women's division a little more juiced up. There were chops and clubs and tumbles and kicks and then a falcon arrow and then a katana knee or whatever the heck it was. I think that's what it's called. 1, 2, 3. Not bad. It was just there and I only cared about one of the participants. So Renee is with Copeland. Not Edge. I'm just trying to get the whole... I'm trying to edge myself away from that. Why did he come to AEW? He came because he wanted to, patch things up with Christian Cage and talked about Christian's, confidence issues, the jealousy, the fact that Copeland seemed to get more of the opportunities and Christian was always playing, catch up. And now he's got all this stuff, but that's going to come crashing down. He doesn't want his TNT championship. He's not going to fight him. Nick Wayne and Luchasaurus are going to eventually leave him. He'll be there to pick up the pieces. Pick up the pieces, as our Lord and Savior's average white man once said. This is good. I encourage you guys to check this out. It's actually one of the good things about the show. And then Wardlow beat Ryan Nemeth with one powerbomb. We got another jump start here. We got a jump start in the women's match, too. Every single match had a goddamn jump start. Every single one. Pull back, Tony. Pull back from your tweet storm, from your insanity, and pull back on that. Ryan Nemeth jump started and then got hit with one powerbomb. That was it. Boy, I bet Ryan is thinking, God, I hope my brother comes here. Maybe we can be a tag team. I don't know if Dolph is actually going to go there. I mean, if he does, it'd be cool. So, Shivani then asked Wardlow, hey, why are you back? What do you want? There was MJF conveniently written on his tape. It was either this fist, or both fists. Maybe Wardlow was ready to fist everybody. I don't know. And then Shivani got shoved down. Well, that's just mean. That's an old man you're picking on. He wants MJF. Okay, we're probably going to get him versus Wardlow at Winter is Coming. Nurse that thing along for a bit, and honestly, I think Wardlow, I don't know when his contract's up, but I'd be very, very surprised if he's not on his way out. They don't know what they're doing with him. They don't know what they're doing with him. They had such a chance to capitalize on his momentum after Double or Nothing last year, and they botched that ever since. I don't know what the fuck they're doing. And we're about a year and a half after that almost. So anyway, Renee's with Omega, who can't talk for shit. I mean, I'm sorry, he can't. MJF shows up and says, 13 days, bitch, because that is the amount of days that he needs to pass Kenny Omega as the longest reigning AEW World Champion. Okay. MJF obviously is going to beat that because Omega's like, well, we'll see about that. Okay, are they going to have Omega suddenly win the title and face off against Jay White? That wouldn't make any goddamn sense. They kind of pigeonholed themselves here. Woo, woo. So, we're going to get more Cole and Strong, Adam and the Kingdom, and there's a stuffed giraffe and PB and J, and I'm sorry, this is made for children. I'm done. I'm done. I'm done. I'm sorry, I don't care. Strong said he finally pissed off Cole too much, and he says, I'm going to have to, make nice with that scumbag. And then Shivani brings out the Don Callis family. Well, just Hobbs and Takeshita. And Hobbs tells a story about how basically the reason that he attacked Jericho and did what he did is because back at a WCW show 25 years ago, his mom got him front row tickets. He wanted to meet Jericho, and Jericho, because of the 98, he was in his heel phase, blew off Hobbs, blew off his mother, and all that stuff. And Hobbs has held that in for 25 years. Now, there are worse things, that they could have come up with, but I'm pretty certain this was legit, but still, it was what it was. It certainly wasn't the worst reasoning, as I'm going to talk about in another segment in a little bit. Callis then says they're all going to be unleashed. Shut the fuck up, Chance. And then Fletcher is to blame because for the loss last week, because he stepped in for Sammy. To be fair, Fletcher can actually wrestle. Sammy's an idiot. And that Fletcher came out, had a lot of balls, standing up to Callis, and said that he will win without their help. And then faced Omega in a match that had another jump start. Callis joined commentary. They spent a lot of time outside the ring, almost like the referees don't matter here. This was fine. This was actually one of the better Omega matches compared to some of the ones I've seen. If Mark Davis truly is out for a while, then at least they're doing something with Fletcher, and I can't fault him for that. They're not just letting somebody sit on the sidelines. At least they're featuring somebody. Omega crashed into the buckle. That looked pretty goddamn brutal. Michinoku driver for 2. A V-trigger for 2. We got more back and forth. Soon after that V-trigger, by the way, a Dragon Sleeper by Kyle Fletcher, so the knee just doesn't mean anything. And there's no selling kick, no sell, this V-trigger, V-air trigger. I thought Kyle Fletcher landed on his head and got hit with the one-wing angel 1, 2, 3. Here we are. Not a bad match, all things considered. I've soured a lot on Omega, but I can admit when... I apologize, by the way, if I sound not that great. It has to do with allergies and the weather change, so I do apologize. I've soured on Omega, quite frankly, in the last couple years. but I can admit when he does good shit. So at least he looks like an athlete, unlike the Bucks, who thankfully were not on the show, so maybe that's why I actually liked it somewhat. Danhausen is coming back. And then Archer beat up Barrett Brown, throwing him to the ring. Barrett Brown kept trying to get shots and got hit with the blackout. We'll see you in 6 weeks, Archer. I like Lance Archer. They just don't know what to do with him. And Swerve, apparently his new Pressure video or remix or whatever is going to be released on YouTube on Friday. And then Swerve and Prince Nana, because they swerve when they drive. Yes, they swerve when they drive. Yes, they swerve when they drive. Yes, they... Yeah, okay, that's it. That's all you're getting. I'm tired. And Paige is basically going to be their target because it wasn't personal, but now it's personal to Swerve. And then Shivani brings up Sting, or brings out Sting, rather. Big pop. Sting is going to address his future. Thanks, Shivani. Shivani leaves. And he reflects on all the people that he traveled up and down the road with, like Lex Luger and the Steiners and Buff Bagwell. Nothing about Lex Luger helping contribute to the death of Miss Elizabeth, but I digress. The people that paved the way. Dusty, Flair, Hogan, boo. Okay, I hear you, but he did teach me a lot. Hopefully didn't teach you the racism. And there's You Still Got It chance, and people are happy. He mentions how his 2015 retirement did not sit well with him. I wonder why. Couldn't have had anything to do with Triple H squashing him at Mania 31, which was stupid, and the Buckle Bomb stuff, which it wasn't Seth Rollins' fault, despite what, Bret Hart said, and I love Bret, but that was wrong. He started in AEW in December of 2020, or that's when he showed up. His first match for AEW was at Revolution 2021. His last match ever, will be at Revolution 2024. Now, I'm disappointed that they're probably not going to be back so I can actually see Sting wrestle on television, but I was able to see him at a couple of the shows I went to live. The Dynamite that was on January 4th, and got to see him show up at Wrestle Dream. Check out my reviews of those if you want. So it was cool to see that. And you know what? I don't blame him. He's going to be 65 years old in March next year. What else does he have to prove? Nothing. He didn't need to be diving off of shit and doing all this stuff, but he's done it because he's getting paid a shit pot full of money. It's not like he's needed the money, but goddamn Tony Khan was willing to cut him a check, and I bet you it's at least $1.5 million. It's probably $2 million. And Sting's like, okay, I'll do that. But you know what? He's ready to go out on his sword, do whatever, and he will probably lose his last match. Which he should. He should face Darby, and Darby should beat him. I don't know if that's going to happen, but there you are. So, we get a Tony Gone with the Storm. Tony Storm Gone with the Storm, black and white thing through the picture-in-picture. And then sit down with JR, Nick Wayne, and his mom. I don't actually remember his mom's name. I've talked to Nick Wayne at multiple indie shows. I've mentioned this before. I talked to his mom a couple times. She is a bright, personable, very attractive woman. I mean, and I put it in that order because she's strong-willed, and I mean that with respect, and very, very nice. And I know what they were trying to do with this segment. This wasn't good. This did not help anybody. This didn't help anybody at all. The whole point is she was trying to get through to her son that's impressionable, young, and she wants him to do right. This didn't work. Nick is pissed, mentions a Christian's a better father than, his father ever was, and that she was a terrible mother. Again, I don't know her name. And she gets upset because Christian has shown up. She gets upset and slaps him. Could she slap me like that next? God, I hope they're not watching. I really hope they're not, because they're such good people. Nick Wayne is such a talent. He's going to get even better. And they tried, but I'm sorry, this didn't work. JR looked like he was just waiting for a bus to take him out of there. And then Christian and Nick Wayne leave, and then you hear cartoonish thumping noises. Darby's attacking both of them. Throws Nick Wayne into a guardrail, battles to the staging area, in front of the live crowd. Nick Wayne apparently either got a busted tooth or nicked himself shaving. I'm sorry. And then here's Luchasaurus and Christian and Sting. And okay, that was... yeah, that wasn't good. I'm sorry. I like the parties involved. I'm sorry. That was not good. So then Rampage, Collision, Battle of the Belts, 8. I think it's 8. I will watch Collision and Battle of the Belts, and I will review those, and just have those taken care of. I'm not going to watch Rampage. I'll just read the spoilers, because the one time I reviewed Rampage in the last 4 months was Rampage Grand Slam, and nobody watches Rampage, and nobody really watched the reviews, so fuck it. Statlander will face Willow, and Cassidy cuts a promo, and Khan has a gift for Sting. So then we have the Dynamite Dozen, or Diamond Dozen Battle Royal with Dustin, Juice, Caster, who mentions about Joel Osteen, who is a piece of shit and a shyster, and all religious people are, quite frankly, at least to that level. And he mentions Mattress Max, which gets a big pop. That was an advertiser for Paul Bosch's Houston Wrestling. And apparently he's still alive. I'm like, he's gotta be at least 90 by this point. So anyway, MJF joins commentary. And then one point he paid Dustin to do something win the thing, make sure that Juice doesn't, or whatever it is. Matt Hardy and Jeff Hardy were in there, and Juice won. Jay attacked MJF while that was going on, and MJF almost got the title back, and then Jay White attacked him, and okay, yeah, that's it. I'm just done with Battle Royals. I'm done with this stuff. There were good parts to this and good storyline progression, but no matter how hard they try and must insist that Jay White is a main event talent, somebody worthy of the AEW World Heavyweight Championship, now I must respectfully disagree. So let me know your thoughts in the comments. Like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Riplin. I'll see you soon.